What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video and welcome to your Saturday, April 24th stimulus check update and daily news report. So there has been a lot going on throughout the week and over the last 24 hours. And I want to break all that stuff down for you in today's video. Right now, all I ask is if you enjoy these daily uploads, can you do me a favor? Go ahead and hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. Now, let's get into what has been going on over this past week, the new updates that we're seeing, where Democrats plan to take this infrastructure bill, this additional stimulus, and what we're starting to see kind of progress moving into the actual negotiation phase of this next bill. So here's what we know. The big news coming out over the past week or so has been revolving around trickle-down economics. For decades, what we have seen, what we have known is that trickle-down economics was supposed to incentivize larger businesses, corporations to hire more employees and to kind of, build the economy up for everybody, not just a select few. Well, according to recent studies, that has been proven that is actually ineffective compared to what we have done recently with trickle-up economics. And this is huge for those of you that are not really millionaires, billionaires, right? That's the majority of us. We're not millionaires and billionaires. We are just average people working regular jobs, living our lives. Well, here's what we know. Right now, Democrats are looking at trickle-up economics as the new way to build up the economy and to provide for the American people. Democrats are looking into different ways to provide for lower-income individuals and additional relief so that they can boost the economy themselves as opposed to relying on large corporations. This is actually good news because this is what this means is we could potentially see additional stimulus checks. We could see a monthly check is what many economists say would do wonders for the economy and to the American people. A monthly stimulus check is what economists say is what should have been done in the first place. But here's the problem. This has never been done before. This is pretty much universal basic income, UBI. Well, that's been done in certain areas of the United States and it's done really well. However, it's not been done to this as such a large scale, really anywhere. And so this is where nobody knows what would this impact. How would this impact the economy? How would this affect the American people? Not only now, but in the future. So the one bill that is still being pushed as of right now does revolve around monthly stimulus checks. That is the ABC Act. This bill would actually provide $2,000 per month for every single American until the pandemic is over. And this is why this is being seen as so expensive is because what if this pandemic is just getting started? What if this goes on for 2 years and we get 24 months of $2,000 per month per American? That's where it gets very expensive. And then after that, it's $1,000 per month for 1 year after the pandemic has been declared over. So this is being seen as a way to allow Americans just to kind of, get back into the habit of providing for themselves as opposed to relying on the government for additional help. But it doesn't stop there. This is not where the trickle-up economics stops. What we know is trickle-up economics isn't just about a stimulus check. Lawmakers are looking into a way to boost Social Security income. They say that Social Security has kept recipients in poverty for decades, and that must stop now. What we know, lawmakers are also pushing to get the SSI level with the federal poverty line. And if they can do that, millions of people on SSI will be lifted out of poverty. And that is what some are saying is needed. But again, it doesn't stop there. The other direct payments that lawmakers want to see included into the next bill is unemployment insurance. This is another direct payment that lawmakers say is essential and it cannot be cut off on September 6th. Here's what we know. Currently, there are over 40 Democrats that are pressing President Biden to implement a new series of changes to the unemployment benefit or insurance benefits. So these changes, we've already seen a handful of changes. $300 per month, an extension, so the unemployment insurance got expanded past 52 months. That was actually pretty big as well. But they also want to expand the eligibility, which means more people would qualify for unemployment. They also want to tie unemployment payments to the current economic conditions, which means if we're in a pandemic, if we're in a financial crisis, health crisis, whatever, then we could see additional benefits. We could see a boost, maybe $300 per week, maybe that $600 that we saw back in April, May, June, July. We might see something like that. And they also wish to increase the jobless amounts. So they don't want to have it where every single person on unemployment is getting like 40 to 50% of their previous income. They want to see it close to 75%. That's a big jump. That's a big jump. But we will see what happens. And then lastly, they also want to extend the duration of the weekly benefits. Like I said, if they tie it to the current economic conditions, we might see the unemployment insurance benefits that are normally get 26 weeks or 52 weeks, then it got extended and now it's like 70 some weeks. We could see the duration gets increased, possibly 1 year, just flat out 1 year, 52 weeks. We could see that, but again, we don't know. But it doesn't stop there. That is not where it's stopping. What I can tell you is Democrats want to provide free community college to all. This is additional relief. This is additional stimulus. They want to provide this is free, for 4-year public college to anybody whose family makes less than $125,000 per year. They want to get rid of about 90% of federal student debt. This is by forgiving up to $50,000 per student. That's big. This is something that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Elizabeth Warren are still pushing for. This is something that President Biden has looked into. He's asked questions. However, he hasn't got any responses back. So we're still waiting on updates there. But these are just some of the things that Democrats are currently pushing for, and they're not going to stop. Democrats say that we need to provide more for the American people, but not only for the American people. By providing for the American people, it serves another purpose. By Democrats providing for the American people, that's us, we would be more inclined to vote Democrat in the upcoming election. Well, here's what we know. Currently, the House I think the Democrats hold like a majority of 4 or 5 seats in the House. So if the House were to swing Republican, first off, that's going to be a huge issue, because have a Republican House and possibly a Democratic Senate and a Democratic president, there might not be a lot that gets done there. But here's the other issue. If Republicans were to win because Democrats don't come back and provide more additional relief to the American people in 2021 or 2022, and let's say Republicans decide and Democrats decide, yeah, I don't want to vote for Democrats again, let's vote for Republican this time. Let's see what happens there. Well, what's going to happen if this is actually what takes place is Republicans win the House and Republicans win, right now it's a 50-50 Senate. If Republicans get one more seat in the Senate, they would hold the majority. They hold the majority. It would be Senator Mitch McConnell that would be now the Senate Majority Leader again. And what we know based off past history is Mitch McConnell will let bills just sit on his desk for a year to die. He will not put it in front of the Senate. He will not bring it to the floor if he does not personally believe this is what is best for the country. So nothing will go up for debate, and we will be back to where we once were. Some say that's better than where we are now. Others say that who knows. We will just have to wait and see what Democrats and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer at this time decides to do. But here's where the problem really lies. Because even though Democrats are pushing for this and Republicans are pushing for that and President Biden wants this thing done, what we know is that right now, Democrats want everything included into the infrastructure bill. Well, the problem is that nobody is currently agreeing on what should or should not be in the infrastructure bill. Democrats are fighting with Republicans. Democrats are fighting with Democrats. We also know President Biden doesn't have the support from his caucus, from his party, to get these bills passed, to get either the $2.25 trillion infrastructure bill or get the American Families Plan that he's going to unveil sometime this coming week, which is probably going to be right about $1 trillion. He doesn't have the support to get that passed in the Senate. In the House, I think he has less chance to get it passed in the House. So right now, there's a lot of issues. We do know that multiple Senate Democrats have proposed breaking up this large infrastructure bill in order to get Republicans on board, to get bipartisan support. And this is actually a decent idea. There's merit behind this. The problem here is the bill would look very different. We would not have anything for healthcare. We wouldn't have anything for elder care, public schools, clean energy, or things like that. It would be completely gone. We would have to wait until the bipartisan bill is passed, and then Democrats could go back. They could renegotiate with Democrats because they wouldn't have to worry about Republicans anymore. They already passed a bill with them. They could go back after a bipartisan bill with Republicans is passed, go back with Democrats and say, all right, we're going to do a budget reconciliation. This is what we need in the bill. Does everybody support it? Everybody in favor? And then they go and pass the bill. Well, the issue there is right now, Senators Joe Manchin and Chris Coons have both said that a bipartisan bill would work, that we need to get that passed. It would be much easier. The road would be less bumpy. And as soon as that's passed, then they can go back and look at the big bill. Because my guess is, just based off of research over the past couple of weeks, if Democrats and Republicans are to reach a bipartisan agreement on infrastructure, the bill would most likely be anywhere between $1 and $1.5 trillion. That's where the bill would sit. And then Democrats would come back and they'd probably pass a bill closer to $2 to maybe $2.5 trillion on everything else that was not included within the Republican bill. So what I can tell you is that right now Congress is split on whether or not to split up the negotiations at this time. But if we do see this, if we do see Congress split the negotiations into separate bills, and one's going to be bipartisan, one's going to be very partisan just for Democrats, what I can tell you is that we won't see an additional stimulus check until after August at least. We won't see another extension to the unemployment insurance benefits until possibly September. But at this time, many would be a little bit upset because the unemployment insurance benefits would have already expired on September 6th. So because of that, we might see a huge issue, a huge crisis on our hands come September. But again, the reason I say September is because Congress will be on recess for all of August. And Democrats would be furious with the centrists because they decided to propose this idea to President Biden. But right now, President Biden is dead set on no. We're going to pass, the $2.25 trillion bill, and we're going to pass the other $1 trillion infrastructure bill. So he wants to pass those two bills. He'd like bipartisan support on each one. But as of right now, it is highly unlikely. But as always, as I know more on this topic, I promise I will bring you all the updates. Let's get into some other news. The CDC panel has recommended that the U.S. resumes the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. They say that currently the benefits outweigh the risks. Okay, well, as long as you don't get blood clots, then yes, the benefits would outweigh the blood clots. If you were to get blood clots and possibly die, then yeah, you get the idea. But that's currently what they are saying. We also know that masks prove to be highly effective indoors, but studies are showing that masks outside don't serve much of a purpose when staying distance from others. In addition to that, an MIT study is showing that people are no safer indoors when they are staying 6 feet apart versus 60 feet apart. And again, this all comes down to ventilation and other factors, but right now they say nobody is safe no matter how far apart they are, especially if they're indoors, which is also leading to the reason why more people are deciding to go outdoors and go and travel, which is causing other issues as well. President Biden is also scoring the highest approval rating amongst young college students of any president for decades. Currently, 6 out of 10 college-age students in America approve of the job that he has done thus far. And the USDA announced on Tuesday that they will be extending the universal free lunch through the end of the year for the school year of 2021-2022. So yes, the free lunches for students is going to go in effect. So if you are a lower income individual, lower income family, you will get free lunch for your student. And this will not go just till the end of this year. This will go into next year as well. This was originally going to expire on September 30th. However, they decided to up it a little bit further. So what we know is this is going to actually impact about 12 million kids, because about 12 million kids are experiencing some form of food insecurity. So as of right now, that is what we know regarding stimulus, regarding the daily news, regarding infrastructure, and regarding what Democrats' plan is moving forward. As always, as I know more, I promise I will share more. If you can, go ahead, hit that like button. I highly recommend it. It does help out the channel. Go ahead and subscribe so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.